Hello and welcome back to Phantasy Star 4. Now, last episode, I neglected to talk about the fact that we have recently acquired a tiny robot. So, Demi is an android, and androids actually work from different rules than meatbags. They don't benefit from medicine or other healing techniques. However, they have their own self-healing skill, and they regenerate hit points from walking. They also get no techniques, only skills, and they don't earn new skills on leveling up. You have to find them, just like you have to find all of their equipment. You cannot buy android equipment in this game. Anyway, first part, our quest to get a car. Can't drive without the keys. Need to be in good health to drive. Yeah, apparently the Parmanians built things to last. Yeah, something that doesn't become immediately apparent until you get Demi is that the walk animation of various characters in your party cycles more quickly or slowly depending on how tall they are. So, characters like Runa take slow, long strides, while Demi has to sort of scurry around because, as one DeviantArtist put it, she is an entirely different category of short. That's a good question. Yeah, you'd better worry. In any case, in Phantasy Star 1, the Land Rover was just a way to get around, but in this game, it's a missile-studded flame tank. Oh god, she's a nerd too. And vehicles actually mean something different. Vehicle combat. Vehicles have their own hit points, their own attacks, and their own special skills. If they run out of hit points, the whole party inside dies as the vehicle goes up in a ball of flame. See? What have I been saying? Yeah, the reason that vehicles get their own encounter tables most of the time is that according to the manual, these giant vehicles make such a racket that they wake up some of the larger, nastier creatures in Motavia or wherever you are. Later, Demi teaches Rika the differences between denotation and connotation. Hopefully before Grizz splits Rika from bow to stern. So there's an entire system that controls the movement of tectonic plates. That's mad science, I think. Chaz is hesitant about accepting the side quest. Now, I could go to the plate system immediately, but I want to make it ridiculously easy for myself. So, while I'm going to head to Ladea Tower, I'm not going to climb up it immediately, because doing both the plate system and Ladea Tower in one video would take forever, and I'm the one who has to edit all of that. And secondly, between Ys 1 and 2 Complete, Ys 1 and 2 Turbo, Ys 4 Mask of the Sun, and the fact that I'm kind of on my 6th playthrough of Ys Origin, I'm getting kinda sick of towers at the moment. I just kind of left all of these vehicle random encounters in there just because I so like that this is indeed a thing that exists. Okay, I also wanted to stop by here to pick up the new armor and a couple of other things. What heroine could that be? Oh, I see. Yeah. This store's name is a play on Bayamale, a tower in Phantasy Star 1. The Paralamate was also the basic healing item in the Japanese version of Phantasy Star 1, where in the English version it was changed to a burger. Alice Landau was the main character of Phantasy Star 1 who went out on her quest of revenge after she saw her older brother getting beaten to death by a couple of robo-cops in the employ of Lashiek, the Tyrant King who used to rule the Algo system. This is where I'm actually glad I did all of that pre-grinding, because I can afford all of the stuff with no muss and no fuss. The Paralamate and the Alice Replica Sword are also absolutely essential to the quest. Do not question the necessity of the knickknacks. Yeah, the Paralamate is actually a play on from what I've heard, a popular dietary supplement called Calorie Mate, which should be familiar to all of you who have played Metal Gear Solid 3, even though at that time that MGS3 takes place, Calorie Mate is something of an anachronism. Okay, everything's set. So now we're going to pop into Ladea Tower for a bit. There's something I need to get in there. Okay, this music is actually a remix of the dungeon music of Phantasy Star 1. The enemies here are largely the same as the ones in Zio's Tower, so many of the random encounters in here when I go through here for real will be cut. What I need is not far up. Centaurs are jerks. They hit hard and it's hard to tell immediately whether they're organics or machines, but since Eliminate works on them, I guess they're organics. Now, Demi is actually pretty hardy, like both androids you get in this game. And she's really tough, especially once we get her proper equipment. She hits fairly hard. And oh, here's Rune. So he already had a solution to Zio's invincible magic barrier. The guy seems to have an answer for everything. So, now that Rune is a permanent member of our party, this would be the best time to actually talk about him. He's one of the two characters in this game that's really a dedicated caster. Even says he's a wizard. So his physical attacks are appalling, he's not particularly fast, but he has really powerful techniques and a ton of magic to throw around. I wanted to grab him before I went into the plate system to make the encounters much easier. Especially since Demi is a bit more of a utility android than a war droid. She has an instant death attack that affects machines, Spark, but other than that, her abilities are mainly geared towards defense, like her medic power ability and barrier, which increases magic defense. Now, medic power is an interesting skill because it not only heals everyone, but it also reses every character in the party who's been KO'd. I don't really think there's any other equivalent to an AoE res outside of Phantasy Star 4, at least in the time that Phantasy Star 4 was made. Anyone who knows different can feel free to correct me. I've never spurned the idea of knowing things. So, what I just picked up is a repair kit, which is the healing item that works on androids. It restores them pretty much to full and also revives androids from being KO'd. And because androids aren't affected by techniques, that's the only way to bring back one that has been KO'd. Now, the squad four-leggers actually resist physical attacks. However, laser weapons do a different damage type than most regular physical weapons. They do energy damage, which is shared by plasma weapons and certain android attacks. Now, I left this one in here because I wanted to show Spark actually working. Oh yeah, androids also generally resist most techniques. Oh, now I remember why I left this one in. I wanted to show Disrupt. Disrupt is basically a basic weapon attack against all enemies. It's better than Air Slash though, because it uses the weapon types for damage rather than its own damage type. This is especially vicious because Rika can get access to a lot of different damage types. Now, this big brute is more bark than bite. In fact, I don't think I ever let one of these get in an actual attack in my entire time down in the plate system. As I said in the opening post of the thread, I am going to be doing all of the side dungeons, and there are quite a few to be found. I also had to deal with a rather inordinate number of random encounters down here. I don't think I've ever been besieged by this many robots since, you know, the last time I played Mega Man or something. Or Republic Commando or whatever. And I went back up because apparently I forgot about a box over there. A lot of the boxes down here actually contain some very useful equipment, either for Demi or other characters. I really want all the firepower I can get my hands on for Ladea Tower. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Yes, androids are the only character types that can use guns. Guns are two-handers, and they're the only two-hander type that don't increase defense, but that's okay because the androids you get can tank pretty much anything thrown at them. They do have one weakness, however, lightning attacks, and a couple of the nastier bosses in the game use them. I can't believe I keep on getting lost like this. Maybe I should have saved the flowers for Algernon reference for this Let's Play. While Rune is no longer as super overwhelmingly powerful as it was when we first picked him up, he's still incredibly useful. Now what's this? They are all beautiful machines in their own way. Modesty? Okay, I'll go with that. Now, what I said earlier is that you actually have to literally find skills for androids in boxes. Androids never learn new skills on leveling up. They just get more uses for skills they already have. The Phonon Mazer is actually fairly powerful. It's one of the most powerful all-attack skills in the whole game. There are only a few that are more powerful. I decided to demonstrate it here. Which was a bad choice because these guys actually resist that kind of damage. Keep in mind that Phonon Mazer will generally be doing about twice as much damage as what you just saw. This is the only additional skill that Demi actually gets. I find it kind of funny that Demi only gets one extra weapon skill, but later Android you get is allowed to get 3, probably because Demi is just so tiny. This does bring about the question as to who exactly built her. She's only about 300 years old, which means she was built way after the Great Collapse. So I guess all they had left were the spare parts. Laser knife is useless to me. Laser axe, on the other hand. And another laser barrier, which would be great if I still had Han. And a better gun for Demi. And it's really good too, because Stun Shot is not just a funny little name, it actually does have a chance of paralyzing enemies. We fixed an earthquake problem by turning off the earthquake machine. Planetary engineering, that's just the way it is for you. Anyway, that's about it for the plate system. I now have everything I wanted and everyone I need for the next leg of the journey. I'll be leaving this robot-infested hellhole. and I will be seeing you next time on Phantasy Star 4, where I finally take on the Ladea Tower. See you then.